right, good afternoon. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your meeting today. My name is Guerra, and I'm a senior planner with the city's planning department. Today I'll be speaking briefly on our department's initiative to implement the city's comprehensive plan, SA Tomorrow, and the development of the South Community Area Plan. So just a quick background, in order to proactively develop a plan for the entire city of San Antonio, the SA Tomorrow plan divides the city into 30 sub-areas. Each of these sub-areas you see will have its own plan with its own project manager and its own unique set of recommendations and strategies. The plan is developed over 5 phases. So we're just beginning our 3rd phase. The map you see up here includes both the regional center plans and the community area plans. Just for context, the ones in the blue are the regional center plans, so those are your areas of high employment. So if you think of downtown or the medical center versus your community areas, which you see in orange to the lighter yellow shade, those are your community plans. Those kind of fill in the missing gaps throughout the city, and those are going to be more specific to neighborhoods and to communities. And this is the boundary of the South Community Area Plan. Just generally speaking, the plan covers areas that include the southern portion of the Roosevelt Corridor, South Florida Street, South Guerra Street, Mission Road, South Cross, the Stinson Airport area, and the Mission Reach. Just to keep in mind, the plan is a comprehensive document and addresses future growth. Once adopted by City Council, the plan will become the guiding document for future council decisions, such as city-initiated rezoning, infrastructure improvements, or bond projects. Some of the key topics listed here correspond to what's actually in the plan for each of the sub-areas. Each of the plans, including the South Community Plan, will have its own specific set of recommendations related to what we call the plan framework. So really, as the planning department, our most influence that we have is the land use plan, but we also have a set of recommendations and strategies for parks, mobility, infrastructure, and amenities. And then we also include chapters that are specific to focus areas, catalytic projects, economic development and housing strategies, as well as neighborhood chapters, and finally an implementation plan, right? Like, how are we actually going to do this? So in developing the plan, this is a 2-year process. It begins from beginning to adoption to City Council. We have several outlets for public engagement to help us collect feedback from the community throughout the process. First off, the planning team. The planning team is made up of stakeholders from the area, neighborhood association representatives, community members, and other city departments. So this planning team generally meets once every month or 2 months to develop plan-specific topics and develop recommendations and strategies, like I said, specific to the South Community area. We're at the very beginning phase of the plan, and so we're going to be hosting other sets of community meetings, neighborhood meetings and briefings, focus groups, community intercept events, and of course, events such as this where you can engage with the broader community. And we also have a project website, and we'll have online surveys as the plan goes on. So on May 12th, we hosted a community meeting at Stinson Airport, and we had about 56 people actually sign in. The number was probably a little bit higher than that, and we had over 60 people fill out the online survey. So what you see right here is just a very broad generalization of some of the feedback we've heard. We've had over 100 responses, which is great, but this just kind of really just is a baseline of how we can begin to identify some of the needs and strategies for the greater community. First off, amenities. Participants identified the missions as a major amenity in the area. It should be preserved, and there should be improvements to existing parks. Infrastructure, as we know in the South area, there's a need for sidewalk improvements, drainage and flood control, as well as road improvements. And looking at land use, there's a need to analyze some of the existing land uses in the older neighborhoods and see what kind of zoning is appropriate for those areas. One thing that's come up is the possibility of letting people know that accessory units can be used to generate income, and they kind of help offset your tax increases. These are those houses where you see what looks like a storage shed in the back or some kind of unit in the back that can be converted into an accessory unit that can be rented out to help generate income for residents. And then also, as far as economic development, there's definitely a need to invest in local businesses. One of the big stats that I've heard so far is that about 2 million tourists visit the missions every year, and many of those tourists don't stay at a hotel in the South Community area. Many of them don't shop at local businesses, or they don't shop or dine within the South Community. That money's kind of spent in the other plan areas. So that's something we definitely want to focus on. Like I said, these are just a very basic baseline beginning point to help us start developing recommendations as we proceed through the plan. So just some next steps. The planning team is going to meet again to discuss the vision and goals. We're also going to host a meeting to discuss land use and housing and economic development strategies. Then we'll also host another community meeting in October 2022. Throughout the process, there will be a series of 4 community meetings. We meet with the planning team, and then we start to kind of refine that vision and goals and really develop this set of strategies. And then we take that back to the community, try to get their buy-in or see what we might have missed, then refine our recommendations and strategies to develop the plan that's consistent, that kind of captures the entire community's vision for the future of the area. And finally, I know that was really quick, but there's a few resources up here. For the overall project website is satomorrow.com, so that'll be the site that has all the regional centers and the community center plans. And then we have a specific site for the South community area. That's south.sacompplan.com. And so that'll be our project website. We'll be posting meeting summaries. We also have an engagement journal, so we'll share some of the engagement events that we've been at and results from online surveys, so the community can see how we're trying to engage with everybody, and everybody gets an opportunity to provide feedback.